The king's back. 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 The king's back.
Yeah, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and it is Wednesday, May the 28th of 2025. This is my regular Wednesday live vlog where I come on to talk about whatever the funk I want to talk about. So tune in, strap up, sit down, grab a glass, do whatever, and we're going to get rocking here. First of all, how y'all doing? I'm tired. I's tired, boss. This week has been a really, really milestone week for me. Today was a pretty good day as well. I'm actually going to show y'all. Well, I'm going to see if I could get this up on the screen here too. But today was a milestone day for me. This week was a milestone week for me as phase one of my daughter's life is complete. What is phase one, if you ask me? Well, phase one is she's graduated high school. My kid is now an adult in life. Like I talked about in one of my previous live streams, the best that I can do is cross my fingers that me and her mother did not mess her up, right? She's still an adult. She's still going to have some things that she's going to need to learn in life, as we all do. I'm 40 and still learning shit. But I'll tell y'all, I am happy. I'm proud of the young person that she has become. And like most things, right? Like when you're young in life and you don't know a lot, if you're not jaded by what the world's done to you, you typically see life as a lot of possibilities and all new things as things that could be. And while I have been on this earth for 40 years now, and I have had some positive and negative things occurred, I don't see the world through a very jaded lens. People often ask the philosophical question, do you see the world through a half full glass or a half empty glass? And to me, I've always been a half full kind of guy, the person that's optimist, right? I'm optimistic. And I'm optimistic that we've given our daughter the tools that she needs to succeed. Obviously, there's things that anybody can build up on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she goes out and does in life. I'm just glad that I did not successfully contribute and raise a mouth breather here on this earth. So, phase one done. My daughter has graduated. I'm gonna see if I can bring up a picture here. We had the grandparents come in. We had family and friends that were able to come in as well. That was dope. I think I could get up the picture here. There it is. There's a picture of everybody that was able to pull in right there. Lovely group of people. Let me see. Let me do this a different way. There we go. So that's everybody that was able to pull in. We had folks flying as far as Texas came in, and the grandparents and Miyatsi, who I haven't seen in forever, was able to pull up too. So I'm going to give a special shout out to Miss K for set some things up for me, and a special shout out to wait, who else helped? Kamika. My bad. I'm tired, y'all. Special shout out to my ex-wife's sister, Kamika, for helping set some things up early. Because if left to do it by myself, that would not have been it would not have been set up as well as it was set up. So a special shout out to them and a huge thank you for getting that done. Now, how do I go back to where I get that off the screen? Remove. There we go. I know how to do technology. I promise. So that is the first part of what we're going to talk about here. The second part of what I wanted to bring up here, I've been hearing a lot about this big, beautiful bill, right? What's the HR 1000, I believe, is the name of the bill. Let me take a look at my notes here, see if I can find out what the actual name of the bill is. Yeah, HR one big, beautiful bill. This was a 1,100 page mega package that tries to be a tax cut, Christmas, border security bulldozer, welfare reform bulldog, and fossil fuel fast track all at once. Trump is looking at calling it a deficit slashing bill, while the CBO and outside analysts call it a 2 to 4 trillion red ink cannon. And it is now going to head to the GOP ran Senate, where fiscal hawks are ready to start sharpening their machetes. So I'm not a full-on expert in the way that legislators go through bills, right? But you have things get proposed on one side, right? They vote, things get hashed around, and then it'll go from the House over to the Senate, where the Senate will do their checks and balances and redlining and all kind of things to see if they can come to a census on being able to get things approved. And then once the House and the Senate has a majority vote, it'll go to the president to get enacted, and then now boom, you have legislation. That's the 30-second King Smith version of how we get legislation done in our nation here in the US. This particular bill, which I don't know, maybe they decided to just go with the alliteration of it all. The big, beautiful bill. It's a big bill. It's very bigly. It's got a couple of things in there that people are like, woohoo. For example, taxes. This bill makes the 2017 individual rate tax cuts permanent. That's supposed to be designed to keep more money in your paycheck once you get through your gross pay and you have your net pay paid out. I just found out I'm actually getting less money in my paycheck here in a couple of months because I've been paying the wrong social security rate for the last 13 years. Yeah. Yeah. So for those of y'all that are in the federal workspace, if you've been underpaying something for that long, the government wants their money. Something that got found out that I didn't know about until a couple of weeks ago, but whatever. Um, the other part was the no tax on tips and being able to not have taxes on overtime and a proposed senior tax deduction. Now, people are like, yay, hooray, no tax on tips. I'm not quite sure people that work and get tip taxes were actually reporting those taxes. I'm sorry, reporting that income anyway. I might be wrong on that, but that's just me, right? Um, and a new deduction for the interest on car loans for things that were designed and made in America, American made car loans. I guess if you're trying to say, all right, well, we're going to move production of our automobile industry and rely less on imports and produce cars here. I don't know. I don't think I'm smart enough to figure out if this is actually going to work for us or not. Right? That's just me though. What else is included in this? The SALTs, which is the state and local tax deduction cap. It looks at raising the cap on the state and local tax deduction to 40,000 for incomes of up to 500,000. That's long been a priority for lawmakers in high tax states like Maryland. I'm telling y'all, if you live in a state that has low taxes, stay there. Definitely don't come to Maryland. Maryland tax you to breathe in this joker. The moment you cross foot in the Maryland state border, you've been taxed. You sniff one time, taxed. Proponents argue that these tax cuts would boost economic growth, wages, and create jobs. The White House is claiming that it could lead to significant increases in your take-home pay for most families and workers. However, initial estimates by the CBO, which is the Congressional Budget Office, and others suggest that the tax provisions alone could put us in a deficit by trillions of dollars over the next decade. Think about this. There was this push for EVs, electrical vehicles in the US, and people have been snatching EVs up. I've been driving a hybrid now since 2020. Yeah, summer of 2020. And I've been loving what that's been meaning to my pockets as far as paying for gas and maintenance and things like that. I went from a Dodge Charger to a Ford Fusion hybrid. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because when EVs started getting more accessible, produced and things like that, there were also incentives for people on their taxes for buying EVs. What did that mean, and what happened with the tax revenue on gas? States started seeing a big gaping hole in money that was coming in because less people, actually it's a couple of different things. When COVID happened, you had less people driving on the road. Now you got more people with more EVs. So the states aren't making as much money on taxes that they were putting on gas. And sure as shit, the regular, like people that could kind of forward think, we're taking a look at this and going, legislators are going to have to figure out something, because when that money goes from here to here, where are they going to make that difference up? Well, you guessed it. They've proposed legislation now. Some states have already enacted this. Other local municipals are adding this kind of a tax to it, where when you register an EV, you pay an additional tax for that EV based on how many miles that you're expected to drive. And then every so often it gets recertified. They were going to make that money up somehow. Somehow. If you said, you know what, I'm just never going to drive again, States are going to figure out a way to try to make money somehow, some way off of your backs. Now, if they were doing the right things with the taxes, that's one thing. What's the right things, King? I don't have the answer, man. I don't have the answer. But something like the road construction, where I live, there's bottlenecks everywhere with the amount of people that are commuting to work now. Now that we don't have this where you can work from home for federal workforce, like where I live at in the DMV area, a good bit of workers are federal employees. And now that we've got this return to office, right? There's more cars on the road, more money for the states, frustrated people. I don't know. I don't know. This big, beautiful bill also had Medicaid cuts and work requirements that got added to it. The bill proposes significant cuts to Medicaid, estimated to be at around $700 billion over 10 years, primarily by imposing stricter work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents, expanding the age range to 64. Some people say that there could be some broad, major impacts at places that are more rural in nature, and an increased healthcare costs for the recipients. The other one, SNAP, or what people call food stamps. So if you don't know what the actual real term is for food stamps, SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. They're talking about significantly cutting that down over to the tune of $267 billion over 10 years. And the feds are trying to make more of a burden to be on the state by having the states increase their contributions to the program and ensuring that able-bodied people aren't getting the benefits without a pure need for it, which I think is the way that it's supposed to be. There are many people saying, I'm going to lose my food stamps. Go get a job. Go get a job. That's how I see it. Okay. The other things that are part of this bill that made me go, yikes. They're talking about an increase in substantial funding for border security measures, including continued funding for the border wall. I'll tell you this, if you are looking for employment, a job, maybe even a career, being employed by one of the either federal, state, or private businesses that are focused on border security is the way to go. Whether it's IT, whether it's muscles, right? You using your body, that is going to be something that I see could be a stepping stone for a smart person to go into that industry and succeed and do well. Work that for about 20 years, 25 years, stack your bread, get out and retire at a young age, which some people are saying is not possible. But I think if you make the right decisions in life, you can start with a zero net worth after high school. And even in today's society where rent prices are ridiculous, there are ways to make things work that you could go from 18 to, let's say, 43. And if you're calculated about your expenses and you're calculated about what you put your money into, invest in yourself, it's possible in today's day and age to retire at the age of 40. I'm 40 now, and with the knowledge that I have now, I look back at all of the mistakes that I made like, damn, I could be jet setting around the world here in a couple of years if I made the right moves. This is why I'm invested in what's going on with legislation here in the US. I'm trying to stay ahead of all of the changes and challenges that's occurring so that I can make smart business decisions going forward. That's my goal. I think I can pull some things off that by the time I'm 50, if I don't want to work, I can be done. But it's going to take work. And it's also going to take paying attention to what our elected officials are doing to see how I'm going to have to pivot when certain things come up that either could be good for me or a roadblock. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think that this big, beautiful bill is going to be the right move to put us in the right direction going forward? Or do we have elected officials out there that don't know what the hell they're talking about? Let your voice be heard. Put it down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on everything. I'm going to end with this. I was out today and me and my mother went to a casino. And your boy got lucky. I hit $2,200 on the jackpot by doing something stupid, mind you. All right. You might not be able to see it, but if you zoom in on the photo, I did an $88 bet or $88 spin. That's not something that, you know what they say, go big or go home. Well, I went big and won big. I was hoping that the jackpot was going to be a lot higher than what it was, but I'll take that. I got a daughter that's about to go to college. I need all the monions I can get. All right. So that was my interesting news for today. Your boy got lucky. That's my live stream for today, y'all. I'm tired. So I'm about to kick my feet up, relax, and get through the rest of this week. Hope y'all have a fantastic week yourselves. I'm the actual King Smith, and I'm out. Peace.